two, one.
Bills, bills, bills. I was so excited and so happy when I got my transplant. You could not tell me this was not a dream come true after so many years of dialysis, sticking and pricking and appointments and low blood pressure, all kind of stuff, throwing up on the machine, fainting, falling out, all kind of stuff, learning to deal with diet, trying to be a team player. I finally get the call. I get the kidney and I'm happy. I'm learning to deal with all of those pills, over 30 pills. Then I got down to 4 pills. I was so happy about that. I made my appointments. I remember when it was like a couple of times a week. Then it was monthly. Then it was a couple every 3 months, and every 6 months, and then every year. And then it hit me. You get a bill in the mail or something you are told, there's no insurance that want to pay for your transplant after 3 years. Who knew? Why didn't they tell me? Why didn't they tell me? I was doing fine on dialysis. I was happy on dialysis. I listened to all the things they was telling me what to do, and now I don't know what to do. I don't. If the medicine runs out, the kidneys will go bad. If the kidney goes bad, I'm back in there, and that is not my fault. If I knew there was no money or nobody to take care of me when I got this transplant, I wouldn't have never got it. So I just want you to know that, because this is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in the kidney world. How y'all guys doing? Hey, good night, good day, season's greeting, happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, the whole kit and caboodle. This is the season definitely to be blessed, jolly, and everything else. Sit up and get ready. Put your seatbelts on, because I got a great, fantabulous guest for you tonight. Just before I introduce him, when I was doing the arts and crafts with you guys a few weeks ago and showing you, I wanted you to show you the finished product of the chair. This is the rocking chair out of clothespins. Isn't that cute? Isn't that adorable? You can shellac it, leave it this way, put a plant in it or anything like that. And this is the teensy weensy baby chair of the same arts and crafts. All right. I did some on Facebook Live that did arts and crafts as well, a little bit at a time. Okay. So now let's get in and we're to the show. All right. So thank you again for sharing, caring, and tuning in. Man, I got the guy for you. Let me tell you something. This guy, he runs to the scene, drives to the scene, go on the scene, and handle business on the scene. This is Cory Taylor, the 911 critical care transport paramedic, driving up, sliding in, home base on the Lisa Baxter Show tonight. Cory, what's up? Hey, welcome.
Hey, thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. How's everybody doing tonight?
Well, I'm
All
alive
right.
and kicking. I'm alive and kicking. My
All
batteries
right.
already done started up. You hear me? I am so excited to have you. I wanted for so long to have somebody that deal with, ambulance and ambulette and critical care and stuff like that, because I never had that. I had a little bit of everybody on the show, but I never had this. So I'm
Right.
definitely looking forward to asking you a few questions, and you can jump in with some suggestions and stuff. Oh, we in a partnership tonight together. Okay.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to be here, Lisa. I'm so glad that you decided to have me on your show, and it's such a wonderful opportunity to be able to represent this section of medicine that is,
Ah,
very, for lack of a better word, it's very underrepresented. So, thanks for having me, and I'm ready to answer any questions you may have.
wow, you feel that way, huh? Tilt your camera a little bit to the right. One of my partners is saying, I think that's good. I thought he was talking to me, so I'm slid in this thing, and he said, not you, Cory. You know how live TV is. So a little tweak here and there, and we'll get it. He just said a little to the right. After that, like, leave it, because he's not giving me any more texts or anything. So you're looking
Okay.
good. You don't want to drop it or lose the focus. So I
Okay.
ain't mad at you. You ain't never lied. Let's get this party started. All right now.
Oh, I
Now,
see what he's saying. 1 second. Okay.
oh, okay, you
I,
still dealing with it? Then I'll look a little bit over
okay.
my little notes. Okay.
All right.
All right. Okay. What is your what now? Tell me, for a fella like you, what is a normal day in life of a paramedic? Give me
Well,
a little bit of a normal day.
sure.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so
Hold it. Hold it. He's telling me to tell you to tilt it down a little bit. A
tilt it
little
down.
bit down. Just down a little. I'm sure that's it. It looks good to me. I don't know what it looks like on his end, but that looks good. All right. So don't
Uh,
worry, our brakes are still pumping. Right
all right.
there. Hallelujah. I think we got it right tonight. All right. Now, what what is a day like in a paramedic's life when you first you're on your way to work. I don't know if you start the house from the ambulance truck or you had to get to work to jump in it. But when you get that call or when your day started, when you got there, give me a little bit of that.
So, it all depends on what type of emergency medicine you're doing that day. So
Okay.
there's two basic types. It's either the 911 portion of pre-hospital care, or it's the transport portion of pre-hospital care. The
Mm,
911 portion is where you sit in your truck, you wait for an assignment to come over the radio, and
okay.
you make your way to that assignment. Now, this assignment comes through uh, in New York City, it comes through the fire department. So the dispatchers from the fire department assign you a job that you
Mm,
go to. If you're on the other side where it's a medical transport, um, the dispatcher from your particular service, they assign you a job and you go to hospitals or clinics to transport the critically ill between institutions.
oh
So those are
wow.
the two main differences.
Oh wow.
Then as far as a paramedic goes, so that's really the main two that I'd like to focus on tonight. So
Beautiful.
what you initially asked was, what is a normal day? So let's first start with the 911 side.
Okay.
So you would have to commute to work wherever that is. In my particular instance, I work at a voluntary hospital. So
Mm,
the voluntary hospital that I work for is Staten Island University Hospital of the Northwell Health System.
mm,
So the way it's set up is you report to um, your your base, for lack of a better word. This way you can kind of really get an understanding of how the whole mechanism works. You
mm.
go you go to the base, and at the base you have ambulances. You get into your ambulance, and then you go to a predetermined intersection or a cross street location. And what you do there is you wait for an assignment. Now, these assignments could be anything from uh, a cardiac arrest, where
Mm,
the patient's heart has stopped,
Jesus.
or it could be something as simple as, I had a cold for 3 days, and, I don't have any more medicine. Take me to the emergency room. So
What?
it varies widely in
Mm,
between, things like that. Now, if you're doing the other side of emergency medicine, where it's transportation, interfacility transportation, you get your assignment,
mm,
and you make your way to the institution, and you transport patients back and forth. Now, there have been times where one of the hallmark jobs are dialysis jobs, where you
well, I was
grab
gonna go
patients.
into that. Go ahead now.
Right. You grab patients from home, and you transport them to the dialysis center, and you take them from the dialysis center back home. As a paramedic, however, there are times where there are medical emergencies that occur during a dialysis session
Wow.
where patients are, become unresponsive. There's a very there's a vast array of medical
Sure.
emergencies that can transpire
Mm-hmm.
while on dialysis,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the medical emergencies that the paramedic um, is very equipped to address. So
Wow.
I don't want to go into the detail of the medicine and all that other stuff, but just to give you like a very topical reference to, so you can get an idea of what we do.
Sure. Sure. Give us a taste.
Okay, so for instance, if you have a patient who is already sick but is scheduled to take dialysis, and they for some reason take off too much fluid, all right? If they take off too
Mm-hmm.
much fluid, now the patient is running a risk of becoming hypovolemic. They have low volume of fluid, and that can lead to cardiac issues and so many other situations. Nine
Wow.
times out of 10, though, dialysis patients have other comorbidities, or there are other health issues that they have, like diabetes, heart
Yeah.
failure, all
Mm.
these things. And, chronic kidney disease and heart failure, they go hand in hand. So it, these are very sick patients that need strict, attentive care.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
well that seemed very involved, you know what I mean? And I'm glad that you know what you're doing. You have been trained well and right. I don't really know what school or college or training where you took it, but you're on the right road, because I know about dialysis and stuff like that. I had to deal with low blood pressure
Oh
and
yeah.
low calcium and things of that, polycystic
Oh
kidney
yeah.
disease. But I do know also that the ambulance can cost a lot of money. I know in Mitch's case, my husband's case, they were sending me a bill after he had passed, but they had took us there. You know what I mean? So I was
Yeah.
surprised when you said somebody would call you about a cold, because they're so expensive. A cold is the last thing I'll call you. I got to be really sick or have dead to have somebody call for me, or me call for somebody else. Anything that
Right.
you can transport yourself or take a cab or something, that's one thing. But when you need you, it's really got to be an emergency. That's why, it's 911. You know what I mean?
Right. But
Yeah.
Lisa, that some insight into that is, you know, a lot of people take into account that, you know, yes, an ambulance is expensive. The medical care that you receive is not free. That is for sure. But at the
Yes.
same time, in this city, there are so many different levels of socioeconomic um, awareness.
Mm.
And if we are here to serve the community, we cannot have the attitude of, you know what, someone called me for something that seems trivial. To me, it seems trivial. But
Right.
in actuality, it's their emergency. It's not my
Mm.
emergency, it's
It's
their
there.
emergency. So whatever it is that they feel is an emergency, they're going to call. They're not calling you because they don't have anything else to do. Whatever it is, it's their emergency.
It's a
Now, in
serious to them, you saying. It's
correct.
serious
It's
to
serious
them.
to them.
All
Correct.
right. No, because you
And that
said
is
a
the
cold. I never knew a cold could be serious, but like you said, and the person that's calling, it might mean something serious to them. So
that
I,
is
I ain't
correct.
mad at you. You ain't
That is
never
correct.
lied.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is the perspective of a professional. We can, amongst ourselves in the truck, we can go back and forth and complain, and find fault with why the patient is calling. But once we get to the door, all that goes out of the window, and now it's about the patient.
Mm.
And just one more thing I'd like to bring to your attention is that sometimes people are so underserved with medicine. People don't take care of themselves. People don't go to the doctor regularly, and
All
it's
right.
not always by choice.
Right.
Sometimes it's really by just the fact that they cannot afford it. They don't have access to health care like they would like. So
Mm.
if they can't do it that way, they will call an ambulance, and an ambulance is a guaranteed ticket into the emergency room to see a physician.
Mm.
Guaranteed access. We cannot deny you. We cannot tell you no, we're not taking you to the hospital. If a patient asks to be transported to the hospital for whatever reason, we have to take them. So some people get wise and say, you know what? I can't afford to go to the doctor on my own, but what
Mm.
I can do is call an ambulance, and an ambulance will take me to the emergency room, and there I can um, express my grievances of my health to a physician.
Wow. Now that's
So
interesting. No,
yes,
go
it
ahead.
is.
Continue.
It's
That's
very
very
interesting.
interesting. Very, very much interesting because who knows what people have, or what people
That is
don't
correct.
have. And I know
Right.
I say a month ago I had insurance. Now I don't have any. So you just don't know where you stand or where you at. And
Right.
even, you need your treatment on dialysis. And I learned that you would give a person from an immigrant or somebody from a foreign country, you'd give them dialysis here, but you will not give them a transplant because they're not a citizen. I thought that was interesting too. I just
That
said
is
that to
correct.
say this: the crazy stuff that happened with insurance, no insurance, money, no money, citizen, not a citizen, got a transplant done, whatever it is all interesting and it all blows your mind. And you like just scratch your head or say, get out of here. So that's something new. In all my years of, being a social worker and everything like that, and the whole 20 years of dealing with dialysis and transplants and stuff, I never heard that one. But I like that. It's good to know. Education is just good to know, period, about what people do and how they stand. This is what the shows are all about: helping
Right.
people, putting the resources out there. See, I wanted them to know stuff like this. And you're telling them, you the man. I ain't
Right.
mad at you. You the man now. All right?
Now, conversely, Lisa,
Yes, sir.
when people call for issues that are not, yes, we've established that it's their emergency, but at the same time, in the assessment of medicine, it's
Mm-hmm.
really not an emergency. But what that does is it puts a strain on the system because now someone is responding to this
Not an
emergency that is
emergency.
not an emergency, and someone who is having a legitimate emergency is now being denied or delayed treatment that could possibly save their lives.
Now I've heard
So
of that.
right, correct. So but there are two sides to every coin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an issue that has plagued emergency medicine since its inception,
Mm.
and there has been no meaningful um, resolution to this issue. What they have done to kind of stave off or to decrease that is to establish these things called urgent care centers.
I see
So
them all around. Right.
you see them, yeah, you see those popped up all over the place.
Mm.
And what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to alleviate the non-emergent emergencies. So
Mm.
this is these places where you're supposed to go. They can treat everything from a broken bone to flus and colds and viruses, and this is supposed to alleviate some of the pressure in the emergency room because everyone that goes into the emergency room, there are two things that happen: either they are admitted upstairs or they're discharged home. So you cannot admit more people than you have space.
True.
That
I've had
becomes
that
another.
both ways.
Right,
I've been admitted
right,
and I've been sent home too. Oh yes.
right, right. So it all ties into the pre-hospital aspect. All ties in with admissions and discharges, and
Mm.
that's what the emergency room game is all about. Are you going to admit or are you going to discharge?
Mm.
Your sentence cannot be overboard because now there's a strain on the hospital. Then it comes to the point where you'll have to stop ambulances from coming into the emergency room because you have no space for them.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yes, that's called
That's
diversion.
real.
Yeah. Yes, that's
That
real. It
that is
happens
so real.
quite often. It happens quite often.
Well,
It
those
happens
those
quite
care
often.
centers, those care centers that you said that are up, that I see also in New York, that that alleviates your job, that alleviate the hospital's job, that alleviate, helps out, so it won't be so much. The emergencies can leave to the emergencies, and the non-emergencies can go to them, and that way you wouldn't have so much trouble with mix-ups.
That is
Hopefully,
correct. That hopefully, that's the key
hopefully,
word.
yes.
Hopefully, because there have been times where I had to respond to an urgent care center because the patient underestimated their emergency. They didn't think that their emergency was emergent, so that's where they went. But it turned out once they
Oh,
were assessed, it really was an emergency, and the ambulance
critical,
had to come.
serious.
Right,
Wow,
it had to come. We had to come to the urgent care center to take them to the hospital. So
wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what did you love about this job?
Um, I have a few uh areas that are very dear to my heart, but I would say the number one is being able to affect change.
Oh,
My
I like
job,
that.
my job, I can really see a difference in what I do immediately. And I'm
Mm,
talking I'm talking about the medicine portion of it. If
okay.
I if I administer this drug, this is what happens. If I don't administer this drug, this is what happens. If I administer a combination of these drugs, this is the outcome.
Wow.
So as a paramedic, you have the ability to evaluate, do a physical exam, assess the patient, and really use your clinical judgment
Your
to affect
skills,
the
huh?
out yes, to affect the outcome of this patient.
Mm,
You know, paramedics are, we're able to do advanced airway management where we're able to put a tube down someone's throat. It's called intubation, but
mhm.
it helps them breathe. We're
Yes.
able we're able to use electrotherapy from the electrocardiogram to
Yes.
resuscitate the heart.
Mm,
We use intravenous therapy to administer medication. So there are so many advanced therapies and management systems that we have at our disposal to have the best outcome possible. Most of the stuff that we do in the ambulance are the
mm.
same exact things they're going to do in the emergency room. So you're getting that care sooner, which is the
Wow.
point.
That's good.
That is
That's good.
that is good. That is good.
Mhm.
So my one of my favorite things is that I'm able to affect change. That is what I really love about this job. And
Yeah.
no two jobs are the same. It's
Mm.
it's always different.
Wow. Well, how many
It's
years you been
always
doing
different.
this?
I've been doing this for about 17 years.
Woo. You got your foot all the way in the door.
My both feet, my arms, everything's in. I'm in. I'm in.
Well, what made you choose this job?
um, well, many years ago, my original goal was to do medicine,
Mm,
and I just became an EMT to help me get through college, and help me pay my tuition and books and whatever ancillary expenses that I had
mm.
at the time. And I decided that this would be a great promotion, a great step up to really get a feel and a sense of what medicine is all about. So I continued from an EMT and I progressed to a paramedic. And when I became a paramedic, I fell in love with it, and I've been here ever since.
Wow. Now that's real love, because a lot of people sometimes can't deal with sick people, or a lot of people
Yeah,
can't deal with somebody passing away or dying on them. So I know you see good things as well as sad things too. So I guess it either
I do.
balances out.
I do. I
Hmm.
do. Well,
Balances out.
I've had triumphs and I've had heartbreaks. I really have. This job, unfortunately, after a while, you get desensitized to certain things, and
Hmm.
it's a psychological defense mechanism so that I'm able to do my job effectively. If everything that I see, if I allow them to affect me, then it would prohibit me from performing my job adequately. And if I can't
Uh,
save lives, there's no reason for me to be on the truck.
woo. Hey, I feel motivated just by those words. You know what I mean? Now, wow. How do you think the public view you? I mean, we see ambulance trucks in and out. How do you think the public view you or feel about you? I was always grateful to see you, even to hear the loud noise. Even though you see some of them rushing to go places, you don't know if they have anybody in there or not. But it's not your business to know. You just better be glad if the person get there or not. So, how do you think the public view you? Because I know we're glad to have you. We're glad to have the police, even though stuff that negative and positive happening them with them too in any thing that we work at or work in. So, how would you think the public view you?
Yeah, this question right here is a very touchy subject because I always say that this is one of the most thankless jobs, one of the most
I say
thankless
that about my
jobs
job. I ain't mad at you. Yes,
on
smooth
the
working
planet,
too.
and I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Most people are not aware of exactly what we do.
Mhm.
Most people assume we're referred to as ambulance drivers, or you know something very derogatory, something along those lines that really do a disservice to the profession of emergency medicine,
That's sad.
pre-hospital. Yes, it is. Um, for instance, people would, if we're parked somewhere, and it's our policy not to park where the exhaust is going into someone's home or in a residential area. We're usually far off somewhere where it's very desolate, right? But
Yeah.
it never fails where someone always finds a way to tell us that we're disturbing them. Now, most of us are on these trucks for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Sometimes we skip meals because we're coming to save your life.
Wow.
Sometimes we can't go to the bathroom because we're coming to save your life.
Thank you.
And right, you're welcome. But it's something that the nuances and the specifics of the job are not readily known to the general public. So I can understand why their response to us is the way it is. There's really no public awareness of the job that we do. They don't know the educational requirements. They don't know
That's true.
what it takes to what they don't understand what we can do, how we can save their lives. I think if they knew more, they would they would have a better appreciation for
Yes,
emergency medicine. And
they
the only
would.
time that they gain that type of appreciation is when it hits home, when
Oh
their
yeah,
family is going through something and we come through the door and we make a
yeah,
change. That's when they're able to appreciate
yeah,
pre-hospital care.
yeah. The color came back in the person's face. The person is now breathing. Now the person
Correct.
came back to
Correct.
life. They love you. They
Correct.
jump around your neck. They thank you. I'm sure. I know I
Yeah.
would. I know I was glad to
Yes.
see them when I was giving Mitch mouth to mouth. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even remember if I remembered the technique or not, but apparently I must have remembered something because they came through the door and they helped me. They wouldn't let me
Yes.
ride with them, but they helped me. I didn't care. Just get them to the hospital. You know what
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying? But
Right.
I was trying for that job years ago, and I saw what it took to be the job. I had to learn that wasn't for me. I am a people person. I love helping in every aspect, but I'm glad, and my hat off to you that's doing such a fantabulous, wonderful job. Now, I remember even serving with you inside New Life Cathedral
Oh
Church,
yeah.
and we were doing some health fairs and something for the church to bring health awareness to our
Oh
church
yes.
and to the church
Yes.
community of Brooklyn. So,
Yes.
yeah, so I was grateful to work with you with that, You know what I mean? Because I know your faith is strong, and I'm sure your faith plays out inside doing this job as well.
Oh yes, there's been countless occasions where I find a way to witness to my patients
All
about
right.
Christ. Oh yes, oh yes.
I know that's right. Me too.
If
I get it
if
in there
if
somewhere.
that's right, if the patient is at death's door, if that's not the time to witness Christ,
I don't
I
know
don't
what.
know what is. I don't
Come
know what
on
is.
now. Mm, mm. I know that's right. Well, you
Yeah,
also a chaplain too. Tell me a little bit about that.
I am. I've been a chaplain for about 4 years, and
Okay.
we were going into the prisons. We were going into uh, the nursing homes and the homeless shelters, and we were witnessing and ministering to people, trying to bring them to a better awareness of Christ, and just trying to give them hope
Wow.
when they felt hopeless and that no one loved them, that no one cared for them. We introduced Christ to them,
Mm. It's
who
nothing
loves
like
and
God
cares
to
for
bring
us
you
all.
to
That's
your
right. That's
knees
right.
and to deliver you through out of them ugly situations and dark places, depression,
Oh
whatever
yes.
it is, sickness,
Yes.
paranoia, whatever it is. And especially around the holiday time, some people have it rough or hard, or having memories of people or family members or situations, whatever it is. So we always going to need him to help us out of that.
Absolutely.
We're going to always need him to help us out of these kind of type of things. you know is there any victory, I would say, that you ever experienced in the ambulance truck that you would like to share or talk about, or something that makes you laugh to this day, put a smile on your face, touch your heart, blow your mind, bring you to tears, blow your nose, whatever? Let me know what that is.
Well, it may seem very simple and trivial, but
No.
like I just explained, this is a very thankless job. And my partner and I was sitting at our designated intersection, and um, this family walked by, and they knocked on our door, and they just baked some fresh baked cookies for us, just to say
Oh.
thank you. And the kids were very ecstatic. They were, you know, we would turn the lights on for them, and they love to see the ambulance all lit up and all the noise that it makes. But for them to appreciate us and to give us a token of their appreciation and to say thank you for all you do, that
Wow.
was that was one of the most touching things that I've experienced in my career,
Wow.
as
Yeah.
far as appreciation goes.
Hmm. Well, any
Yes.
any life changing or any victories as far as saving a life that you maybe thought was touch and go? I know because of HIPAA you can't say what or
Oh,
who. I don't want to know,
right,
but
right.
anything
But
that's touch and go that like surprise you or something like that. You know what I mean?
uh, yes, I have two. I have a good one and one that didn't have the greatest outcome. Well, I'll start with the good one first.
Okay.
Um, there were a few cardiac arrests that my partner and I have done that we were able to bring them back. Those are though 9 times out of 10, if a patient is in cardiac arrest, it's very difficult to get them back. So when they do be, get resuscitated and they have return of spontaneous circulation and all that other stuff, when they do, when they get discharged from the hospital, that's a victory.
Mm.
So because they were clinically dead, and our interventions allowed them to
Wow.
to fight that and to not be dead and to
Wow.
live another day.
Yes, Lord. Thank you,
Yes,
Jesus. That's
yes,
beautiful. That's beautiful. That's
yes.
beautiful.
It
Wow.
is. It really is.
Now,
And one of the worst situations that I've had was during a fire where we were unable to save a child.
Wow.
Uh, the child was succumbed to smoke inhalation, and every intervention that we employed was just unfortunately ineffective,
Wow.
and we were unable to save the child. That one still stays with me till this day.
Wow. How many years ago was
That
that, would you
that
say?
that was tough. That was about 9 years ago.
Wow. Wow. Well, when these things happen, do they give you a couple of days off, or do they go give you a pep talk or something, or
Well,
what, what do they
what they
do?
do is it's something called debriefing. So you talk about what happened, and
Mm,
if you feel that you need counseling or just someone to talk to process your emotions, they have someone available for you to do so. And if you feel that you need time off, that is also made available to you. So
wow.
Northwell Health is very good with that. At the time, it wasn't Northwell Health; it was just Staten Island University Hospital. But
Mm,
yeah, they've been consistently good with that. They're very pro-employee. They have a lot of supportive programs in place to help, even if you're just feeling depressed as an employee, if you're having problems managing your money as an employee. They have a
mm,
lot of programs to help you with that so that you can, live a very positive life. Because they believe that if you're living a positive life, whatever you're feeling and how your life is going is
mm.
going to rub off on the patients. So they want
That's
you to
it.
treat the patients well and have the patients to be able to have the best outcome possible. And if you're living your best life, it'll help them live their best life.
Yeah, because they're looking at you. They're
Correct.
looking at you, and
Correct.
they're looking to you. And a lot of
Correct.
times when they see you, it makes them feel better. Because if you're doing good, then I can do good too. I'm all right too. If he can go through this and make it through this, or help us with
Right.
this, I got a chance. So yes,
That is
yes,
correct.
I can truly understand, and I can truly see that. Um, if somebody else wanted to be a paramedic or anything in your field, is there any website or numbers or place that you would recommend, or any words of encouragement or wisdom that you can tell them from your cap?
Yes. The majority of the people that want to do EMS, um, you can do it one of two ways. You can either go through a voluntary hospital like um, Staten Island University Hospital, Northwell Health, or NYU, or all these other voluntary hospitals, or you can go through the fire department. The fire department is the traditional route if you're going to make
Okay.
it a career.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's great. That's great, and that's good advice. Is there anybody would you would like to give a shout out to, or anything you like to say before I close the show, to anyone or anybody or anything we left out?
No, I think we covered everything, Lisa. I think we've covered a lot of ground today, and
Absolutely.
I think that I hope that my prayer is that people who listened to your show today got a little better understanding of what paramedics do, the capabilities of paramedics, and
Sure.
how they can be able to help you in your time of need. And maybe someone can appreciate paramedics a little more.
Amen. Amen. I don't know if you go to health fairs, job fairs, or street fairs. Sometime if you would have a table, maybe you can explain to some of that to the community and public if you are allowed to. Or maybe have something drawn up that can be sent out or email or blast. That might can help us too. If you have anything, send it to me and I'll definitely share it, post it on my page, and take it where I go when I go out. Okay?
I sure will, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, anywhere, anytime, I 100% appreciate you. Thank you, and bless your life, and keep doing what you're doing. I'll be looking out at you, but I'm hoping I won't need you. But if I do, I know I'm in capable hands. Yours
Thanks a
and
lot.
God. All right? Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Well, good night. Happy Sunday. A million blessings. I appreciate you.
Bless you, Lisa. Take care.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Well, guys, you have heard it. I've had a good guy on tonight, a guy that had a thankless job, but he is more and more and more great and wonderful for himself, for the public, and for all of us. So we're grateful to him and what he's doing and all the staff like him. So I would thank you for being and tuning in on the Lisa Baxter Show. See you next week, even though I'll be in Florida. West Palm Beach, I will still be doing 2 shows even though I'm on vacation. God bless. Take care. I love you to the moon and back. Good night.